Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. There was some surprising news in honkaistarrail community recently. Jiaoqiu's kit changed in version 3. It's not clear why the Hoyoverse made the changes to Jiaoqiu's kit, but many people say that the changes he got in version 3 changed the direction of his kit. Some people say that Jiaoqiu's kit now leans more towards offensive support than pure support for Acheron. In fact, we could even say that Jiaoqiu is pure DPS, given that his kit now resembles the kit owned by Black Swan, a character who relies on damage over time as the main source of damage. So what kind of kit changes are present in this third version? Let's get to the video.
Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough stellar jades? Here is a smarter way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and honkaistarrail. Look no further than Loot Bar. Loot Bar is the most reliable top-up platform, saving 20% for all orders compared with the official channel, and an extra 5% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy a pack for 3000 stellar jades for $42, which otherwise would have cost $50. Totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals which purchased in less than 3 minutes. All recharge will be done through the official channel with miHoYo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount.
Okay, before we start the video, as usual, I will compare the old kit with the latest kit that he has. And after that, we will talk it in full, okay? Okay, let's start with the skill changes. Just like before, the skill called Scorch Onslaught will produce fire damage equal to 75% of Jiaoqiu's attack on a single target enemies and fire damage equal to 45% of Jiaoqiu's attack on surrounding enemies. There is a 100% chance to produce 1 stack of Ashen Roast on the primary target. Okay, at the first glance, the changes contained in his skill are not too significant changes. It's only a percentage of the damage he produces through his skill. The damage he does from skills has been reduced by 15%. So of course, his damage output will be a little less than before. Now for the ultimate, just like the skill, Jiaoqiu's ultimate has not changed much. Overall, the effect remains the same, which is to change the number of Ashen Roast stacked on the target to the highest stack in the battle. Then activate a field that produces fire damage equal to 60% of Jiaoqiu's attack on all enemies. While in the field, enemies will take 9% additional ultimate damage and have a 50% chance to get a 1 stack of Ashen Roast when performing actions. In fact, there have been no significant changes to his overall ultimate. As with his skills, the biggest change is only the percentage, which we can see is a change in numbers from 120 to 60%. Personally, I think this decrease is quite significant, because if we calculate in percentages, the damage he does with his ultimate is 50% less than before. Maybe if the decrease in the previous skill is not too noticeable because the decrease is quite small, it is different with the ultimate. I think a 60% decrease will definitely make a difference. What do you think? Okay, maybe this is where I think the most significant change in the talents. Quartet Finance Octave Binary will make each time Jiaoqiu uses a basic attack, skill, or ultimate, he will have a 100% chance to give a 1 stack of debuff called Ashen Roast, which will deal additional damage to the enemy by 7.5%, which each stack increasing by 2.5%. Ashen Roast has maximum of 5 stacks. Okay, if we stop at this line, everything looks the same. The difference is in the next sentence. When the enemy is in Ashen Roast state, they can be considered in a burnt state and will take 90% damage over time damage each turn. If you notice some of extra lines in this latest talent, some of the lines here are effects that exist in Eidolons too. Meaning that Hoyoverse deliberately removes some of the effects from Eidolons 2 into talents so that this unit does not appear to be a high-cost character. In addition, I personally think that Hoyoverse wants Jiaoqiu to be kind of a standalone unit that can be paired not only with Acheron, but also with several other types of teams, such as a DOT team specifically filled with units like Black Swan and Kafka. Personally, I think this is quite interesting because we can see combination between Jiaoqiu and these units. Next, we move on to the traces section. As for the changes in the latest version of Jiaoqiu, the only significant change is in Eidolon 2, which is called Pyre Cleanse. As we can see in the old traces, when Jiaoqiu casts an ultimate and releases a field in battle, the enemy gets a 30% reduction in the effect's hit rate, and every turn the enemy gets an additional fire damage equal to 150% of Jiaoqiu's attack. Now all these effects are completely gone and replaced with at the beginning of the battle, Jiaoqiu will gain 15 energy. To be honest, I personally don't like Hoyoverse's decision to replace these traces with the latest version. Why? I think the 30% reduction in effect hit rate is pretty good and can reduce the probability of us getting debuffed by the enemy. But it has been completely removed and replaced with a one-time effect that gives you 15 energy at the beginning of the fight. Here's what I mean, 15 extra energy isn't a bad thing, but this effect is already owned by a lot of units, while the initial kit seems to be more unique and a little different from other units. However, as you can see, it's a shame that Jiaoqiu had to lose some of signature kits and be replaced with other kits that I think are more standardized. And now we move on to the next kit, the Eidolon section. As with the traits section, not all Eidolons will see significant changes. The most noticeable change is to Eidolon 2. From Xavier comes Suffer, where the effects in Eidolons 2 have been slightly changed and some wording has been changed. Previously, from Xavier comes Suffer would consider Ashen Roast to be a burned state, and each stack of Ashen Roast will provide fire damage equal to 300% of Jiaoqiu's attack during the enemy's turn. Now the effects is drastically changed to when the enemy is in a state of Ashen Roast, it will increase the damage over time caused by Ashen Roast by 300%. I think this is a pretty good change. With this change, it is certain that Jiaoqiu's debuffs will be much greater with the increased damage from Ashen Roast. This clearly shows that Jiaoqiu is designed to be a damage over time unit rather than a solo support for Akron. Okay, now we move on to the Lightcones. Again, the Lightcones have changed a bit. The effect called Worldly Affairs Leave No Mark will increase the effect's hit rate by 60%. After the user uses basic attack, skill, or ultimate to attack the enemy, there's a 60% chance that an armored debuff will be placed on the target. An unmoored increases the damage taken by the enemy by 10% for 2 turns. If the enemy is under the influence of damage over time, when the user places a debuff, there's a 60% chance of increasing the unarmored status to corner, which can increase the damage the enemy receives by 14% for 2 turns. Okay, at the first glance, it doesn't seem to be very visible where the changes are, but here I will show you where the changes are. First is in the latest version of Lightcone, there is the word damage over time, which did not exist in the previous version. So in this latest version of the Lightcones, these Lightcones are intentionally made for characters that have damage over time effects, or users of these Lightcones have mates with other damage over time units. So there's actually a possibility that these Lightcones can be used by other Nihility paths, such as Black Swan. In addition, there is a change in the percentage owned by the debuff called Cornered State, which was originally 18% down to 14%. So there was a decrease of 4%. So overall, the changes to these Lightcones are that these Lightcones now can be used by several other units that have similar kits, but the debuff generated by these Lightcones is slightly weakened to balance the effect it has. Okay guys, that's everything about the changes of Jiaoqiu's kit. And what do you think? Do you wanna pull him later? Please leave your comment in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to check out my another video. Thank you for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.